What do we call the disaster that happened 6,000 years ago? The mini magnetic pole shift on the half mark of the 12,000-year disaster cycle, resetting now. Recently, there has been some confusion after we had been calling it the Noah event for a few years, but recently began calling it the China event. So what's the deal and what do you need to know? We have called it the Noah event again for several years, ever since it became apparent that the last 6,000-year disaster cycle was 6,000 years ago, and the evidence that it was a true half-cycle event of the 12,000-year magnetic excursion. We have shown the evidence of compiled paleomagnetism intensity measurements indicating a dip right at the time when averaged across the various samples. Not only was there a geomagnetic event, a weakening of the field, like a mini excursion, but there were significant volcanic eruptions, as expected. There were major climate shifts, as expected, a tropical hydroclimate event of major proportions, which brought about the greenest of the green Saharan episodes of the Holocene. But we called it the Noah event because this event 6,000 years ago had no name, and despite the demonstration of a geomagnetic event dip at that time, nobody had officially called it an excursion but us. To close out 2022, a fantastic paper finally used the proper wording, and since these magnetic pole shift events are named after the first place officially discovered in the data, we know that we now have a previously overlooked geomagnetic excursion that did definitely take place. It's got its name, and the region where the evidence found was in China, a little bit in North Korea as well. So, despite the fact that I have loved the name the Noah event for years, kind of thought it was perfect, this no longer is just something we are saying. It's official, a magnetic excursion, and eventually it will be given the name the China event. Same 6,000-year half-cycle disaster, same 6,000 years ago, same timeline for the full geomagnetic catastrophe cycle punctuation in the coming years, new name. I'll see you in the morning for the Daily Show. Be safe, everyone.